Thank you for tuning in. This is DJ Fubfresh from SegaShiro.com, and what you're looking at right now is an overview of the 3DS Game Gear titles that have launched on Virtual Console this past week. For this video overview, we'll be using Sonic Triple Trouble as the exemplar. However, I have tried all of the Game Gear games. All of the games also come with the same basic feature set. The price points for the three releases are tiered, so Sonic is the most expensive at $4.99, Shinobi is $3.99, and Dark Crystal is $2.99. So a little bit history about the Game Gear. It launched in 1990 in Japan and 91 in North America. It is essentially a portable Master System, so the graphics are pretty much close to 8-bit. The games tend to be lower resolution than the Master System ones, but there's a much wider color palette than the Master System games. In fact, there was even a converter that allowed you to play the Master System games on the Game Gear. The original Game Gear also supported stereo sound, though not a lot of games used it. And while there are Game Gear games available on the Wii, the real way you want to play these games is portable, so the idea of having them on the Virtual Console and the 3DS is rather great. And Sega's done a great job bringing these games over. These conversions allow you to play it in 3 different screen sizes. You can play it in normal, which fills up a 4x3 square on the 3DS screen, and that looks fantastic. You can play it in the original resolution of 160 by 144 with different color Game Gear frames. Now, this is kind of cool to see them in their original graphical form, except that the screen is rather small when you're looking at it. You can also stretch out the screen to fill up the whole 3DS screen. However, I found that the pixelation was a little bit harsher in that setting. The games also do come with digital manuals that will explain how the game is played as well. However, they aren't scanned copies of the original manuals. That would have been kind of cool for collectors. I'm very impressed with these ports, as the Game Gear titles are really freed when they're off the Game Gear. The Game Gear was notorious for having a very slow-moving screen, and the 3DS's screen is so much more vibrant and clear. On top of that, the Game Gear was also notorious for having bad speakers, and the game just sounds better coming out of the 3DS. So Sega's done a great job porting these over. You can use either the circle pad or the digital pad to control your character in the game. That's handy as well as you can go into the option screen and change all the buttons around to your liking. Personally, I found the price point to be exceptionally fair, as loose cartridges for the Game Gear go for about $7 to $10. So these digital versions are improved and are a little bit cheaper. I really hope Sega continues the trend of releasing these titles and gives us Defenders of Oasis, Axe Battler, and Shining Force. So here's a quick look at the different options you have. Those are the screen settings. The frame color is what gives you the different color outlines for the Game Gear. You can turn blur on or off. Now, I generally liked keeping it off because blur reminded me too much of the Game Gear. There's special and original performance. Now, the basic setting is always set to special. I tend to keep it that way. Turning it to original seemed to slow it down a little bit more. You can also create and load a restore point, making it really handy to play these games on the go. In case you're wondering, the footage up above is in full screen mode, so you can see how that looks. In terms of other games that have been announced for the Virtual Console service, Columns is en route, and so is Sonic Drift 2. Sega definitely has some sequels they could exploit in the Sonic and Shinobi franchises, as well as a few odd games like Chicago Syndicate, or even something along the lines of Ninja Gaiden. We captured some off-screen footage of the Game Gear versions of these games as well, so check out the website if you want to see that. Otherwise, if you're a retro gamer, these are some pretty cool conversions. So this is DJ Fubfresh saying keep on gaming.